ambush, or maybe they'll just let them pass by, get that sort of earlier position into the zone and follow up, play a little bit more from the edge behind them. It's a bit of that mental game. If you are a little bit lower in the standings than you were hoping to be, do you want to go for those ambitious, more aggressive plays, looking for kills on rotations, or are you just going to try and play it a little safer, keeping your numbers high, and move on to the late stages of the game as 4?
Yeah, I think if you're a team like Fury, you probably don't want to get into these skirmishes too early either, similar to that of Made in Thailand, right? They've already got a decent kill total as 3007 does in fact get Evil Patrick. That rotation that you mentioned earlier for ArkAngel Predator has come undone, and Game Home do at least get one of them. That makes life very difficult now for ArkAngel Predator moving forward. We have seen teams in the past be able to win games with, say, 2 or 3 players. Just depends on how you want to play it. There's a tree there. I don't know how you hit the one tree in an open field, but he's gone and done it. As we head over towards the colony now, pushing on to Made in Thailand, or at least maybe vice versa. A very early nade from Carlbs, but
towards that Picardo area where AAA, look at the wide spread that they have. Gloom's still in the 5 stack on the southwestern side of Picardo. The rest of the squad in every single compound to the southwest, all the way down to around the church area. So a very wide spread. They will be rewarded for it as well, as the zone does center up around the area. On the pull-up, very impressive, lovely stuff to see. Oh, this is not so lovely though. A Sololzy, disgusting, so close to going down on the way past, and he will find it.
Nicely done from Sololzy. Unfortunately for Disgusting, a little too close for comfort, and he is going to lose his life. So does player 4 from 36 Cartel. Unfortunately, a team that struggled on day 1, who will be looking to rectify things here on day 2 and to improve. A team that we haven't spoken about, Eagle365. Great position inside of this circle, along with Seiryu Esports, but there's definitely some pressure here on Eagle365 to sort of put this into perspective. But they are the sort of 3rd team in terms of the overall PGC points here for APAC, as God News going for the revival to Disgusting. They're the 3rd team, Saga, right? It's Fury, it's ArkAngel Predator, then it's Eagle365. They basically are praying that either ArkAngel Predator or Fury actually win this entire event so that the points position then goes to them to get going in terms of the win department, and just in general, being able to find a chicken dinner has been a struggle for Day Trade, both in PCS 4 and in PCS 5. Venotica should be able to get Asba here. This is an awful start for 36 Cartel. Considering their day 1 performance, this was the day where they maybe were looking to, of course, improve and rectify a few things, but just not the way to start it off for day number 2. Down to just sSuspekT and Cherry. They'll, of course, hold on around the Monte Nuevo area, but this is already on sort of the western side of this circle, Saga, so they're not going to get a hard feed here going into Phase 3. They're going to have to get moving. It's a rough game for 36 Cartel.
And if we do see it shift a little bit towards Chumacera, that hillside is very, very treacherous terrain to try and go up, particularly when you do still have a team like AAA or MSC that will have full vision. Even E365, if they do have to try and make that send past Magzinus and the rest of Sharper in that side, it's very, very dangerous. There is plenty of players who are more than willing to just pop shots at your vehicle from range, and certainly everyone in this lobby is good enough to land those shots as well. Very, very solid from BN United. The first rotation I saw from them was about 2 minutes into the game from Power Grid, a full send to the south side of Chumacera. They actually shifted away from that as Fury have pulled up in and claimed that area for themselves, and it has worked out massively in their favor as they are just setting themselves up for the hard feed. I'm getting some LG Divine vibes from BN United in the way that they're playing this.
Well, this is some aggressive vibes at the moment from Unicorn Phoenix, which is to be expected if you recall back to week 1. Yanku, though, gets that elimination onto Chu. Glooms can actually just push out here if he really wants to, because attack all around, quite literally all around Unicorn Phoenix. He gets the knock on a van, may get the flush and does so. 1 HP, quite literally, here for Glooms. A nice little trade there to Dat Blue, and this is going horribly wrong for Unicorn Phoenix. They get the knock onto Yanku, but unfortunately, the damage has already been done. At most here, ArkAngel will go for the flush. He will do just that. At least makes things a little bit more annoying there for attack all around. Gloom still hasn't been able to actually find ArkAngel, though, for Unicorn Phoenix. This is basically a 1 versus 1 right now at this compound until JS makes his way over.
Maybe Unicorn picked the wrong team to try and make the crash, but JS, he's going to pull up in style. Low hit point style is not enough, and the shots from range from Gems will force ArkAngel off the angle before he can secure the flush, but that's still dangerous territory for JS. Attack all around. Remember, they're the highest kills on Miramar in the tournament so far, so even in a 2 versus 4 crash, they're putting up a good battle. They will secure the 3rd flush. JS might be able to revivable if they can finally get this knock through the window, this final kill, Gems will land yet another shot, and HUNGVODITCH dangerously low.
Yeah, and Glims can push up here because they got the information there from Gems that HUNGVODITCH was no longer on top of the stairs through the windows. Really well played there from Attack All Around in terms of that information. Unfortunately, though, of course, they've already lost Yanku. Jay is quite literally holding on here for dear life, and Gems doing as much as he can to sort of provide overwatch there. Young B trying to get that finish there. In fact, JS does eventually go down, and Glooms has been knocked by FAP of Cerberus. It's just gone horribly wrong for Attack All Around, despite being able to take out Unicorn Phoenix.
Oh, that is brutal. That is a moment of heroics denied there for AAA, as that 2-2 split. We said they were going to hold it, and they did eventually get punished, but it took a combined effort of 3 teams to fully take them down. And man, that is an early exit for UNP. Not what they were hoping for in terms of their results from game number 1. They've definitely been that aggressive team, so it fits their play style to go for that sort of play. But the defense of AAA, even as a 2-man, to even just delay long enough for Jays to get involved, and Gems with the shots from long range, just a little too much, but it cost them so dearly.
Phase 4 circle presenting itself inside of the next 5 seconds. Assuming it should be able to shift away here from Chumacera. That will be very handful for these teams at the top. Unfortunately for Gems, he gets the hard feed. The reason why it's unfortunate, Saga, is he's the solo now for Attack All Around in that sort of position. You would have to suspect will be crashed at some point from teams desperate to find a position inside of the circle.
I saw Day Trade in the vehicles heading this direction, but I don't know, some shots onto Venotica might just send them packing, go the opposite way. He's going to be taken down. It's actually a seat swap to answer back from Norins. Jiaoman will be dropped, but Julio secures the flush, and maybe Day Trade not feeling quite so confident about going for the full send crash with no information just yet, so they are going to continue onwards towards the area that Cerberus did manage to sneak away from underneath the nose of AAA with those long-range shots to get that final knock from onto before that revive could come through onto Glooms.
Yeah, so unfortunately there for Day Trade, they don't even attempt Gems' building. Of course, they don't have the hindsight, they don't have the information. They go past it, they go above it. Now they're on the very edge, close by to Cerberus. Fury, a team we haven't seen much of this game as we now transition over towards the Colony, which we saw a little bit of at the start. How with the knock onto Alec, following it up, dNial is able to get the flush. Kalbs just continue to send it in at the back of this compound, and Killer also at half health. This is not the ideal push here from Colony at all. Fortunately, though, for Kalbs, How doesn't have a nade. Otherwise, I think he would have died.
You could see him cycling the utility. He was like, please, Molotov, anything. Doesn't find anything, though. Throws a flashbang and doesn't want to overcommit to the fight. Doesn't want to overcommit to a peak and keep himself nice and safe. He's going to back away. So it looks like for now, it's going to be a bit of an uneasy alliance to share at least the lower ground of this compound. Maybe the rest of Seiryu will just push down if they get an opportunity to do so and flush this colony out. Call in the pest control, exterminate those little wasps down on the lower ground compound. But if they do so, they're going to be exposing themselves to a push from Sharper, who are just lurking around on that western side, just outside of the blue zone.
Fury could be in a bit of trouble here as well, depending on the sightlines that being United have on their position. I think that they could get pinched from Made in Thailand. Esquilusier got the knock onto Fludd, although they're getting a bit of help actually from ArkAngel Predator. Duckman's is going to be eliminated, and Thanawa had just been knocked by Ronon with that frag grenade. If they can get the revive onto Fludd, there's an opportunity for Fury to maybe push onto this, get the sweep, and then push into the next circle. 40 seconds until phase 5. Jacob watching the hills behind him. sSuspekT actually deep inside of the blue. He has got Cherry further in front of him, but it's still looking quite glim here for 36 Cartel. Sharper, though, now pushing onto the compound of Seiryu. tRycK, I should say. Just completely forgot about the T there. tRycK and Sunshine will be defending this with their lives here. It has to push back. They need to play this as two, play off of each other.
Yeah, we've seen AAA have success mostly in a 2 versus 4 defense, so let's see what they can do up against Sharper Esports. Turns out Made in Thailand have nothing that they can do in a 1 versus 3 in terms of teams that are trying to take them out. They get fully surrounded and completely removed. And actually, 17-0 is just going to take the opportunity to get the drop onto Kalbs, but Momonjii is there for the trade. Seiryu under pressure in both sides of the 2-2 split at once, and it's surely just going to be too much for them to handle. A flashbang through from How Momonjii doesn't actually take the shots. Maybe the car just got in the way, but oh man, they're defending on 2 fronts at once, and already with 17-0 being taken down, How in a 1 versus 4 just about dodges out of the way. of the colony, and I've actually managed to take down the one, so for now he will be able to survive, but I'm sure it won't be for too much longer.
Well, tRycK could get a good angle here onto Belmoth as he comes out on the other side of this fence. Did get that knock and got the flush, but he is getting hunted down. Sunshine with a great angle, though, will be able to get tNial, who just got a little bit bloodthirsty there, going after that trade. Runs out into the open, and Sunshine had the angle. Now, we sort of posed the question here, is Seiryu, the sort of duo in this situation, would they play off each other? Well, they've done just perfectly well against Sharper Esports. Full credit to those two players as Eagle365 now send it towards the shack inside of the center of the circle. Phase 5, just under 2 minutes remaining. Colony, once again, they've been amongst it early on here in our first match of the day. tRycK now inside of the blue, waiting for Maximus and sSuspekT to push out in front of him. But Ronon with the bolty gets the knockdown onto sSuspekT, and Maximus will have to just go by himself. Ronon now with the spray, only landed one tag, gets the flush, gets the points at least, or the kill points, I should say. Ykikamucow, Ronon, the duo, 4 Fury remaining. Unfortunately for Seiryu, their transition, their rotation out of that compound, despite their best defensive efforts, has now come unstuck in this position.
Ronon finishes the job with another bolty shot onto Maximus. It's great to see that back in action. We haven't seen too much of the bolties so far in week number 2, but he's definitely pulling it out in force. And, oh man, I got a little ahead of myself. I was about to call it a successful defense for Seiryu, as Colony did get in the vehicle and back away, but, oh man, they had to get out of the area, and Easy is just there waiting, and they absolutely wipe them out before they even get a sniff of that safe zone in phase number 5 this time around. So Seiryu eliminated early on. That's 2 of our top 3 down. Obviously, the main exception going to be BN United. Still 4 strong, still a position in the circle, and still relatively unpressured compared to a lot of teams so far.
We haven't really seen them had to take any fights so far, which means they're going to have a lot of their utility for the late game, as Momonjii and Carlbs just going down to Shin V. Easy Esports getting involved too. Day trade onto the warehouse here, or onto the barn, whatever you want to call it, really, of MS Chomburi, who, for 4 players up, haven't seen too much from them either. They're more than happy to just sort of sit still at the north side of this circle. 13 seconds until phase 6. Fury got a bit of a sight watch on Easy Esports. They've got some high ground here. Got to hit the shots, though, with that blue right on the back of Ykikamucow. Klee, the nade, might have the distance, or it may not. In fact, it falls way too short. And still high ground advantage for Fury, and just barely inside of phase 5. For phase 6, though, it continues down actually towards Game Home. Cerberus in a good spot as well. The 2 Vietnamese teams that have struggled so far, getting a reprieve here to start day 2 of week 2.
At the very least, it's some sort of pressure to take off them, as the western side is where all of the pressure is coming from. And there's even more now being exerted as E365 will pop in third party in. They've already stolen away a flush in the battle between Daytrade and MSC, but Skeet finishes that before they have a chance to steal away yet another. But at the very least, he's still on the table as a tasty morsel for them to clean up for E365. I thought the position was not ideal. They were all bundled up next to a shack, but they've taken the opportunity to make the push. They're getting kill points out of it. And Ronon cannot stop hitting these bolty shots. He's got yet another Ykikamucow, a headshot onto Shin V down below. Even in a 2 versus 4, Cow without a helmet in all of this, they're still confident enough to take these peak battles, but BN United is still dangerously close, and that blue zone is going to start forcing them into horrendous territory.
And it shows the prowess of Ykikamucow and Ronon inside of this position. A 2 versus 4 for this long. Feels like it's been minutes. Finally, Klee gets the knock onto Ronon. Cow falls as well from the nade. Full credit to Easy Esports, but the duo of Fury putting up a decent battle. Over to BN United, though, which we've already spoken about. Side of this circle, if they can push on and eventually rotate down to the south, take on Game Home at some point, they're very much within a big opportunity of winning this game if they play it right. They've got the 4 players up, haven't really been in too many fights. They're going to have utility. You can see the smokes they've got, not a whole lot of nades, but that's okay. They can play deep into this late game.
To play. If they tried to pull up on a ridge nearby to BN, as you said, they've still got all their utility. They've been under next to no pressure. They've avoided all of these mad APAC sends and crashes, but they can't dodge out on the headshots. Young B with that MK. Oh, the car almost took down Smell, but it wasn't quite to be. That would have been cinematic, but not quite enough. Klee has been finished off, though, by the SKS of Dr. Logi, and that smoke grenade is only temporary respite from the absolute fury that's going to be coming out from BN United.
Yeah, it's dissipating, and I think the chances of Easy Esports moving out of this position is also dissipating quite rapidly. In fact, BN United have really just put the pressure right on them in this position. Smell,
Chibiritt.
both knocked down. Chibiritt gets involved. YungB, though, wants to just take the kills for themselves. Next phase 7 circle right on top of Chibiritt. In fact, speak of the devil, as being United actually can sort of play off of this, pushing in towards his position at some point as well. YungB behind the rock in somewhat of a bold kind of territory as well. Being United, do they have the ability to flush him out? It seems as if they will, but they're going to have to be patient.
I don't know how Chibiritt has been allowed to make this push over the road. With the position of Cerberus, I would have thought almost certainly he would be taken down if he tried to make a play this aggressive, but it almost worked out. He got 2 knocks, but the kill credit went over to BN United. They secured the flushes, and drLoGi's dangerously low on ammo, so he's trying to make some sort of play to force YungB to make a move to expose himself to the rest of the squad, but Chibiritt is still just putting so much pressure on this entire western side. He's causing so many problems. Cerberus need to get involved to deal with him, but I mean, for now, just let him cause havoc.
And this is where those smokes come into play for being United that I mentioned earlier. This is the part of the game where you're going to be able to outlay those, use them to get into a decent position, and then get to the position you actually want to be. YungB, though, understands the situation here. Phase 7, yeah, that position at the rock, he's not going to be in anymore. So he needs to make this time to move, and he does just that. Gets in behind drLoGi, gets that knock with a quick headshot through the spray. Doesn't quite make it away, though, and didn't quite get the flush either. This allows Simon to now actually get the revive onto drLoGi. Being United can easily still have 4 players alive. Hanzyy goes down. So even though Chibiritt made the cross, unfortunately, I don't know how Vandal and Jekzy will also be able to do the same thing.
Yeah, this was the problem. As soon as they weren't quite able to secure exactly what they wanted, the position on the western side, and wipe out BN United, there was always the threat that Cerberus are just going to use this ridgeline against them and just close the distance a little too much. They've caught out one of E365, and I wouldn't be surprised if next time we see that win rate percentage pop up, E365 are no longer in first place at this point on. They're just too exposed to just about everything. Game Home did lose 3007 to the blue zone. Not sure exactly what happened there, whether he took a couple of tags from distance and that was just enough to tick him over the edge, but man, it's a rough one. The nade range just outside. sLoLzy does manage to dodge out of it, but E365 now backs fully against the blue zone, and Cerberus are looking to hold them in place.
Yeah, and I think the minimap right now is going to highlight, this is kind of like 2 versus 2 kind of scenario on both sides, like in a sense, right? It's like being United's versus Game Home, Cerberus versus Eagle365, and then whoever wins from those matches then will sort of fight each other towards, you know, the end of phase 8 and sort of the start of phase 9. It just depends on how it plays out, but I would imagine at some point Game Home and being United should do battle down south. Cerberus, of course, need to get rid of Eagle365 above them. And unfortunately right now for Eagle365, Chibiritt's got a great spot, but he's not really able to get involved and help out the other 2 team members.
Well, there we go. According to the stats, E365 still in prime position to take this game. They do have that central position of Chibiritt, so at the very least, it will remain, even if these 2 over here do get naded out by Cerberus Esports. They've been getting dangerously close. They've been tickling away the health bars, but it's been a bit of an exchange as there's one back onto Cerberus. Not quite enough to find a knock just yet, and Game Home are actually pushing towards the western side, looking to try and get an angle onto BN United, but drLoGi hitting the deck in a bit of a unexpected position could just be enough. Clovis has got 5 grenades. If he can start finding some damage with those, this could be huge.
Well, I thought Game Home might look to sneak up on being United, but instead they bring out the vehicle. At least they could use that for cover alongside this field of smokes that they can use as well. Simon somehow just gets caught through the gaps of the smokes, but he doesn't get knocked down, fortunately for being United. Elsewhere, though, sLoLzy able to get the knock onto Jekzy. No real surprise here for Eagle365 with a 2-1 split this late into the game, with the 1 not able to help out the 2. As you can see, Himas also just the pressure that is being applied. Hasaki is knocked, though. A chance maybe for Vandal to push through the smoke and maybe find a knock or 2. Both Simon and YungB are both knocked down, actually, for being United. This has not quite gone as clean as they would have liked as well. 2 players up, but They can actually get the revives now while Cerberus and 365 finish their tango as well on the other side of the road. Himash pushes up. He does get knocked though by Vandal9, who's on 8 health. I think he's the last one up as well. sSuspekT gets knocked as well. What has happened to both of these two teams? It's only FAP. He needs to get revives. dRycK, if he's reading that kill feed, knows to run on over and find FAP.
He can't do it, though. He can't get the revives. He went for a flanking play, pushed over the road, did manage to get that final angle on towards Jekzy and Vandal9 to clean up the fight for Cerberus, but
it's too late.
Him completely by himself. BN managed to get every single member back on their feet. They will have a chance to heal up, and FAP can do nothing but sit back and wait for this 4-man push of BN to flush him out of this position.
Geez, what an anticlimactic ending to this game, because FAP in this position is just virtually impossible. And a 1 versus 4, he's on the low ground. sSuspekT trying to...
It was close.
That pan almost ended up connecting onto him. Full credit to being United, though. And most importantly, it's quite unfortunate for Cerberus to have made it this far. sSuspekT, look, honestly, if you can get this revive, 4 seconds, makes it a 2 versus 4, get the heal off, you've never seen crazier things happen. The only thing is, I just don't like their positioning. Expecting the push. This gives away positioning, though, by throwing out these flashes. sSuspekT needs to heal. He'll be able to do that. 2 versus 4 is not impossible if Cerberus can find the opening pick in the exchange. If they're the ones peeking over this ridge, though, I mean, being United will be able to just have them lined up easily from the get-go, find the first couple of tags, get the information. Cerberus have just got basically no idea, really, the way that BN United are going to be set up. FAP wants to go right, and then obviously you want your teammate to go to the left. Zesto finally gets the first little bit of intel. Does take some unnecessary damage, though, from the blue zone. That could be a thorn in the side of BN United. It is closer to them. sSuspekT, the peak, didn't get the knockdown, needed to get it. They got one onto Simon T, but they